It's more Summer Games Fest. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm so excited, I have a rectal suppository. I'm Mike. You're not. He's Ken. Welcome to This Week in
Hi.
Geek.net. Didn't see that one coming, did ya? Hi.
Nope.
Who else is on this podcast who's probably shaking their head thinking, why did I let him open the show?
No, I'm just trying to think. Oh no, I hope he didn't peak so much that it cut off his mic when he was talking.
It should be
That's
okay.
Alex, the producer.
I heard you.
We are still tired, and this is the last, I think, daily coverage we're doing for this right now.
See,
Yep.
my energy always comes up on the last day. I'm the asshole that shows up to the party. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. It's like almost midnight. We got to go home. We got to clean the venue. I'm the asshole who shows up with the 2 kegs on the shoulder going, who's ready to party? Mike, it's 11:45. Go home. No! That's me. And I'm excited for something, I guess. Alex, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the Xbox. What do they call it? The Xbox
Showcase or something?
Yeah, Xbox Showcase 2025. Because they only really do one of these, quote unquote, big ones a year. They still do the developer deep dive ones where they show like 3 or 4 games total, but like they only do one big showcase a year, and it's always at what would have been the day that they usually did their E3 stuff at.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the PC show that was afterwards. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die like every year watching it. And this year was no different, except this year had zero games that made it worthwhile to watch. So
Wow.
I'm not even going to talk about anything that was there. There was nothing interesting.
And then I sat through all the indie shit.
Yeah.
This is, to give a peek behind the TWIG curtain, obviously in years past, much like Ken and Alex, I would be in on everything. We would do like watch streams. We'd all hang out together and watch all this stuff. Then slowly, old age has crept up on me, and my interest has started to wane. Where I'm literally, it takes a lot to wow me, and more often than not, the Xbox Showcase is where I really get excited, because for years I was the Xbox guy on this team, and that has changed a lot since the launch of the Xbox One. And now that we're in the Xbox Series version of consoles, I have an Xbox Series X, and it sits idle more often than not now. Like, there are very few titles I actually play on it. We mostly play on PlayStation. And this was
my Xbox is my Blu-ray player, because it's the best.
Same.
It's the best Blu-ray player of the current generations. That's basically what it's used for. Now that I have a decent enough PC and everything is both PC and Xbox, 9 times out of 10 the games play better on my PC.
Yeah, like
And if for me, if it weren't for the fact that my Elite controller is a little wonky, I'd much prefer to play on PC, because I've got an 8-bit DOE that works perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's just like, this is you need a reason to play on Xbox. And for me, for a long time, it was your Halo, it was your Forza, it was your Gears of War, and now Gears of War comes to PlayStation later this
Back
summer.
in the day, Mass Effect.
Yeah, or Mass Effect. Like, there were certain IPs you had to come to Xbox, and Xbox needs a W real bad to really make it so. And I don't want to say the word relevant, because I think that's a little too harsh, but I'm kind of wondering if that's true now. What's on Xbox that you give a shit about? This year, there were no huge announcements, I would say, in my opinion. But this year was kind of a, I guess, as they say, let's get into it.
It's a lot of placating to what I've wanted. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean it's something that the general masses want, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we'll sort of go through what was announced, because they did announce a fair amount of things, or show a fair amount of things. It's just, I didn't, in our curated list, I didn't highlight as many, because they weren't necessarily huge. But the big thing here was their big game for the year is The Outer Worlds 2, which I'm super hyped about.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
It's taking that first game and giving it a proper budget, because that was the last game that they produced before they were bought by Microsoft, and they had a much lower budget. And if you've liked New Vegas, but you want a game that's actually modern, fun, modern fun, doesn't just have the good writing of Bethesda, but has good gameplay. This is kind of what you have to get. And I didn't include it because there was a whole 1 hour show that they did themselves, Mike.
Was there anything really good that came out of that 1 hour show?
Perks.
The perks.
They are doing stuff like
Fallout.
But even like really sinister kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like you like to always reload before you empty your mag. Okay, well we'll give you a perk where you do more damage, let's say with each bullet. But if you accidentally empty your mag, you hit a debuff for a certain amount of time. Or ones
Lansy in a weird kind of way. That's interesting.
They had
stare at the sun too much.
Yeah,
you get bokeh everywhere.
Yeah, they also did one. I forget the name of it, but it was there was one for if you've got bad knees, like you're, and it's like and it's like there's like, for instance, like you could be basically crouching the whole time, and you'll move fast when you're crouching, but if you stand up, you'll be like your knees pop, and everybody around you can hear you, and you alert all the bad guys.
That's very interesting. See, you've been trying to convince me to play Outer Worlds for literally years, and I did buy it last year during the I think it was like a winter sale or something on PlayStation 5. So, well, I guess you just convinced me to play the first one. So.
And it's not, the first one is not that long. Like, I mean, okay, comparatively.
Yeah,
I did a full playthrough on PC again, and obviously I was messing around because with PC you could just sort of, I was like, oh, I'll put a trainer on, or I'll enter some command codes and I'll just see if I can move faster. It didn't
Shenanigans,
basically I ended up putting it on easy, and I blasted through it, and it was about 30-40 hours to do everything, including all of the DLC.
Okay.
And that's like including a couple pretty good expansions. One's like a murder mystery, one's like another. And there is, I'm trying to think, it's like, what if you mixed some comedy and like the comedic timings and everything of what you saw in Fallout games with a stronger narrative, more like a BioWare narrative.
Yeah, like for like Fallout, a lot of their games, like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, parts of 4, yeah, good storytelling. Other points, like you're going to get a can of paint to paint the wall, and it's a little stupid, but
there's not really that, and also there's no like game-breaking bugs. There isn't the monotony, and the item management is better. Like, it's all the things, everything that you might complain about the Bethesda style of game is tackled in this and dealt with.
So,
and
also
basically a funny version of Starfield with really
a funny version of Starfield without the glitches.
Okay,
also,
all right, I'm in.
Also, the main villain is basically Mom from Futurama.
Yeah,
in the new game.
That I really liked. The tone of the Outer Worlds 2, from what I saw from the trailer, I love the vibe of it. And I think even when we saw the Outer Worlds 1, I was pretty big on the world vibes.
I'll give you, without spoiling anything for you or the listeners, you do not need to have played the first game at all. They take place in different galaxies altogether.
Oh, different galaxies. Interesting.
Yeah, there's overarching stuff with the planet. Like the first game, the premise is you are from a colonizing planet, or colonizing ship, and you were awoken, and bad things have happened. The Earth is sort of too far away and cut off, and you're basically trying to figure out what's gone wrong with the terraforming of this solar system.
Okay. That's interesting. I like that.
All the while, it's an alternate history where I think it's around the time of like Teddy Roosevelt. Things diverted, and it's like, what if capitalism took over at all costs?
Interesting.
So, like,
well, that's definitely something to.
Capitalism took over, and there was never, the government never created like any government oversight. Like there was never a health and safety board. There was never a Like, there was never anything to check corporations in place, so it became ultra capitalist.
Interesting.
And that's the best way to describe it. But yes, High on Life 2 was announced. I
What
noticed
is this?
High on Life 1 was the game by Squanch Games. That was the Rick and Morty people making it.
Okay.
And he made and what's his name? Justin Roiland did it, and then he got in trouble and was removed from the company. And that's probably why they're not showing who's voicing the guns in this one.
Okay.
They'll probably get the voice actor that replaced him on Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Looks like, again, slightly higher budget. Cool. They showed off a new Plague Tale game.
These games I've always been super curious about, but I don't know whether they're my style of game.
No, they're not. The first couple games, you're basically finding your way around places, and you're like trying to either avoid, divert, or control like hordes and hordes of rats.
So like stealth, but with rats.
Stealth, but with rats, and puzzly, and also surviving. And this one, the fact that it's Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy, it doesn't look like it has the same gameplay at all. It's just like the same engine and same people. So, like, you would have figured they would have gone heavy in showing rats and stuff, but they didn't.
Interesting.
No, it feels like they're basically just taking the idea of the franchise and kind of spinning it into something new,
adapting it into its side universe, sort of thing,
and a different, and instead of like medieval Europe,
looks very Tomb Raider from what we saw.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have to do more with it. Obviously, there's the next thing that was shown was the ROG, the ROG Ally X, the ROG Xbox Ally X, which is one of the dumbest names I've ever heard.
Yeah, like, there should be sharper marketing for this, and this is speaking as a guy who worked in marketing. This is interesting to me. Like, I am not the target market for a Steam Deck. I'm not the target market for this. I will say the advertising made this look interesting to me, but I asked you guys questions, and immediately it was answered. Like, I was like, is this like a Steam Deck? Is this like a portable Xbox? You guys gave me the answers. What I have, and you guys broke it down to me simply, it's a portable Windows machine with a lot of the bullshit stripped out of it, so it doesn't kill the battery in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, we're not quite at, it's not a Steam Deck, it's not quite there. It's a half step between, where we are currently and where maybe we hope we end up with a truly portable Xbox.
Yeah, this is something like maybe if I was traveling places, there's a possibility for this in my life, but portable gaming for me is so hard. Like, even for the Switch, I'll bring my dock. I'll figure a way to hook this up to wherever I'm going. I don't like playing handheld mode.
Well, and the problem is this is going to be 2 or 3 times the weight, at least twice the size. It is not really for mobile use.
Yeah.
It is 100% 2 times the weight of a Switch 2, specifically.
So like if you're that's a fair bit to carry. That being said, like if you do not have the ability to game on a PC and you also don't have an Xbox, that's where I see the value in this.
Can you output this to could you use this in play? Okay, yeah, because I've seen people on streams, I think, do that, where they use like a Steam Deck or something like that.
Yes, it's USB-C.
Okay, so you could
USB-C output.
You'll have to buy another dock, and also there's no pricing release, but the previous version of this was $800 US.
No.
Yeah.
So this is going to be probably $900.
The higher end model is probably going to be like $900 US.
Yeah.
And what is the video card like on this thing?
It is using the new Ryzen 72 Extreme.
The black one of this, like the X edition, is probably going to be about on par with halfway between a Series S and a Series X.
Yeah.
It'll be roughly double the power on paper of the Switch 2, but you got to remember the Switch 2 is a completely different architecture.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured. Like, again, I think this is an interesting idea. That price, no fucking way.
Actually, the best way to describe it is a portable Series S with perhaps better ray tracing.
So a portable Series S that could be a PC in a pinch.
Yeah. So basically,
I've always kind of thought of these gaming handheld PCs as a different version of a laptop, a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's just highly dedicated, highly specialized.
Pretty much. It's like, what if you took a $500 gaming console? Because remember, $500 is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Take a $500 gaming console and put a $400 screen on it and a battery, and that's what this is. So this is not a Series X or PS5 replacement. To do a PS5 in this form factor, it would be like $3,000.
Well, I was about to say, yeah, that would be super expensive.
And the tech doesn't even exist, right? So it's better than a PS5. Like, people are all saying, the Switch 2 is, in some ways better than a Series S, in some ways worse. It's sort of like that. This is solidly probably better than a Series S. But a Series S is also $379 or whatever, US, I think, or maybe Canadian. It's somewhere in that realm.
I've seen some influencers talk about these things, and I'm not impressed. And I don't know.
It's really easy to talk about these things when you're getting paid to talk about those things.
Yeah, but also, like, because my actual gaming laptop does not upgrade to Windows 11, I'm looking at something like this as a replacement.
Yeah, and at that point, you may as well go, who else? Because we already know, like, there's a couple brands that might be as expensive or more, but what is most interesting with this is the reveal about the highly optimized version of Windows on it.
Yeah.
Because when that trickles down to other companies and creates more competition, when you start bringing this from, and again, we're just saying that it's probably $800 or $900 US. They have not announced pricing, which is why it's scary, because they didn't announce pricing right away.
Yeah.
Well, also, this is not coming out till probably the holiday season.
Yeah, probably not the holidays, and also they're not announcing pricing because of whatever tariffs are going to be out there, right?
I know exactly when this is coming out. If Xbox is smart, whatever. My guess is this is going to drop on their big Xbox date, which is in November, which is thinking like November 7th or November 10th, something like that. If I had
to do it on then,
Xbox isn't the one marketing it; it is Asus, so it's sometime around then. But if there's like 40% tariffs or something at this point, this $800 machine ends up being $1,200.
Yeah. Like, and that's something to really kind of take into consideration too. During this entire Summer Games Fest, we have not seen a lot of new hardware. Some, but not a lot. And the whole tariff situation with the Cheeto in Chief certainly changes things, because despite, it's only going to affect the US. Well, to give a very high level overview of this, some stuff comes into the port of Los Angeles. Okay, that sucks. Some stuff comes into the port of Vancouver. That's a little bit better. But when it gets imported down to you crossing the border, then those things still hit no matter what. So this is... I don't like this particular timeline, and I wish it would go away. Anyway, on to happier topics. Alex, where are we going?
Well, from here... Hollow Knight Silk Song they keep saying it's coming out 2025. The only indication we have is that when this ROG Ally launches, it will be available on it. And it's like, okay, that doesn't mean that it's coming out when that comes out. It just means
again, Team Cherry has said it's coming out holiday this year.
It's coming when it's coming.
We have no fucking clue.
Yeah. So they're just basically saying that by the time it's out, it'll be on this thing. So the Blood of Dawnwalker, that is from
vampire game.
It's the the Witcher team, the Witcher 3 team.
Okay, it's all the people that left CDPR during the production of Cyberpunk.
The people that after Cyberpunk came out and they fucked everything up, and they had the horrible issues with the CEO lying to everybody, and they were sued and everything. Some of the senior staff, in fact, some of the most prominent senior staff, went, "Fuck this." And they left and started a new company. And this was the game they're making. Basically, Vampire Witcher.
Okay.
And it's being published by Bamco.
Yeah, Bamco. They previously, it looked like they were either self-publishing or looking for a publisher. And Namco's probably like, holy shit, FromSoft is starting to do more self-publishing of their own stuff. And they can't rely on them for all of their Western-style RPGs. Even though FromSoft makes Eastern RPGs, they're basically they're made for the West, like, right?
Yeah.
So they were looking for somebody to publish, and they signed a deal with them. So that's probably going to be pretty good. These
And
are the
this is
people
bi-
that
yeah.
hated the crunch, right? They didn't want
Yeah.
crunch, so that's why they left.
And this is basically just Witcher, but your blade, essentially.
Yeah, with a day-night cycle, and it looks like you're going to influence like the areas based on what you do.
Okay.
So cool. Super Meat Boy in 3D.
Not my thing, but sure.
No,
Super Meat Boy World, basically.
Yeah,
is what I like to call it.
It's going to be probably really frustrating, but in a fun way. So I get
Yeah.
it. It's not usually my style, but I
It's
also
my jam.
the times
So-
that I've played Super Meat Boy, I played not a fair bit. I played enough. I would say probably 4 or 5 hours worth over the course, which doesn't sound like a lot for me, but when you consider how short these runs are,
Mhm.
I played enough to know that it's not frustrating in that the game is bad. It's frustrating in that
You're
you're
not
going to
good
get
enough.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I'm going to get better. That sort of stuff.
It's muscle
Um,
memory.
They showed
Yes.
off more Ninja Gaiden 4, which I mean we already know we're going to either want or we don't because it's platinum.
Yeah.
And they
like-
also dated it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they dated it, and Indiana Jones Order of Giants says that it's coming
September
was that?
4th.
September 4th, and it's going to be. The only question was the DLC going to be on all platforms, which it should have been, but
Mhm.
you never know if some things are going to be exclusive first. But no, they're launching it on every platform at once, which will be cool for anybody that wanted to play more of that game because it was a lot better than I expected. It was the best, I would say, first person, even though it's not Bethesda, like it's Machine Games, but like it was better than the Wolfenstein games that they made, and those were already pretty good. It's the best I could have expected for them trying to turn like an Uncharted style game into first person.
And also, like, Troy Baker's Harrison Ford
Yes,
impression is fucking phenomenal.
exactly. Beast of Reincarnation.
You have a dog friend.
This it
So-
I just wasn't interested at all.
Yeah, so basically, from what I can tell, this is like a Chinese studio, and Game Freak is helping make it.
Or
But, like,
publish
they're
it
in
or
the-
something, or maybe
Or publish it, because like they're in the front end of the marketing, but there's another studio at the end of the credits, and I'm assuming that's Chinese, because this feels really Chinese.
yeah. Okay. Clockwork Revolution. That
This
looks
is-
really good.
This looks interesting. It looks like, what if you took the world of BioShock Infinite and really stretched it out? And that's not a bad
Yes.
thing. This looks very interesting. This is the game from the Xbox Showcase that really caught my eye probably the most.
I mean,
Bioshock Fallout.
it was
basically
it was the
Bioshock
big,
Fallout.
yeah, it was the big one from last year.
Now,
And-
I will say this though about it though. I think the fact that they're really trying to stick this vibe and feel, like their marketing is going for a very specific push for how
Yes.
it talks to you and basically trying to get you to buy into this aesthetic. And I chose that word very specifically. They want you to get the cyberpunk thing, but they also want this over the top sarcastic vibe. If they are not careful, I think that's going to turn people off, because one thing that was going on during this trailer while I was watching it, like thinking, all right, cool, this looks awesome. Can you stop with the funny? Show me more. It felt like they were forcing it a little too much. Like
The funny worked better
in
with
small
the Outer
bits.
Worlds,
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's because
But-
it's a team that's used to this. The team making this is In Exile, who are known for the Bard's Tale games, and the only comedy they've ever really done before is some of the dry comedy in the Wasteland games that they made previously.
Mhm.
This is
And
also
then
the
also-
first time they've made a game that was an FPS ever.
no, actually,
No,
Happy Few.
Oh yeah.
Was that In Exile?
Yes, it was a small team.
Oh, I
at
didn't
NXI.
realize it was them. I thought it was a completely different studio that made that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think this has the potential to be something really, really special. But if they overplay that humor too much, I think it's really going to become really fucking irritating.
Yeah, and it says
Oh,
like
for
in,
sure.
in
It could be like Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3 bad
Yeah.
in the humor.
Yeah, like I
No.
don't need a British guy calling me a knob every 15 seconds. I don't.
Although
want
it is
that.
funny to have somebody use the term knob. I haven't heard that since I was like 10.
Yeah.
Now, it says done in due time. This is a 2027 release.
Oh, easy. Like we are not seeing
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna guess this game. It's probably 2026 holiday at the earliest.
It's probably.
Yeah,
I think
we
it's
will-
probably up. I think it's a February or March of 2027. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
big release
will-
for the fall of that year. It'll
It'll
be
be
We will
out within
see
a year and a
yeah,
half.
we'll see a date for it next year.
This is the type of game you release to boost a year-end financial quarter. I think it's
And
sort of like
that's. Yeah, sorry. That's why I'm thinking a February release.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't see this being holiday, blah 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 blah. Yeah, this is something you release at the end of a quarter to get those rookie numbers up because they think it'll do okay. This is not going to be. You're not going to see a giant collector's edition with this. You're going to see a reasonable physical release for something like this. There'll be
Yeah.
a pretty cool digital release for this, and there'll be some interesting marketing leading up to this, I'm going to guess. But yeah, this is something
We'll
to
have
keep
to
an
see
eye
the
on.
scope. We have to see
Yeah.
the scope of it too, because as of what they showed, it
Mhm.
looks bigger than Avowed by far, but it looks less than Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Grounded 2 got announced, which I mean, that first one.
It was an interesting idea.
If you
Yeah.
like the first one, this is just more of what they're just iterating on what made the first one so good.
Yeah,
I think, what I remember
your
most about the
eyes.
first one was, I think that was the first game that had an arachnophobia setting where it would turn all
Yes.
the,
The
all the
crazy
spiders.
arachnophobia setting.
you could turn all the spiders into just blobs,
hmm
Yeah.
which I thought was funny. Chronos, New Dawn, that is, that's the survival horror one, which I'm getting weird vibes. Like, what was that game that was made by the old Dead Space devs that really failed? And the studio fell
Oh,
apart.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name. I
Um,
have to tell you about how well it fucking did.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It had like really bad performance.
But
I'm
it's
getting
basically
those vibes.
my notes were Bloober Team doing a Dead Space.
Yeah, Bloober Team doing Dead Space, or I'm sorry that I'm drawing a blank. People are probably listening, screaming at us now, but that it was that one that looked really cool, and then it had like really bad performance, and then it tanked real bad, and the devs, I think the studio
There was
had
a lot of stuff about crunch and stuff like that.
yeah, and he like they tried to like blame. It was almost like a blame the fans sort of situation. It's like, well, no, like
Yeah.
anyway, Elder Scrolls has kitties.
Yep. So cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pet update.
I've never got into the Elder Scrolls MMO, and which is funny because like obviously I'm a big Skyrim guy. I still haven't played Oblivion Remastered. Maybe that's another game I'll play during my summer hiatus.
Wait till there's mods. I know that that's the
Wait till
standard
there's
thing.
mods.
It's
The thing this
doesn't
thing
perform
still
well.
runs like garbage.
Yeah, it's the same exact game with the new visuals on it. So
Yeah.
they actually didn't fix any of the code.
Yeah, like all of the Nexus mod people on PC, like guys, don't worry, we got you. And if they are smart, they'll do mods on consoles within like a year if they're smart.
Oh, it'll be out like probably by midsummer, I would guarantee you.
The next thing that was shown, this one looks very interesting, mostly because of who it's partnered with. The game is called Aphelion, and it's sort of like this sci-fi exploration game. Like you're exploring this strange new planet. There's like this rock climbing thing in it. But what caught my attention is this is working in partnership with the European Space Agency, which means there's going to be a lot of interesting science. They're going to probably be integrating, well, if this was an exoplanet, how does this work? How does this work? How does that work? So they'll probably be taking data from the James Webb Telescope, any other planetary surveys that are currently happening right now, which... Sidebar. I will be very interested to see how NASA and other space agencies work under the Trump administration, since so many things have been cut under Doge. Like, I'm very curious to see how many things will still continue to be funded, which will increase or decrease our understanding of what's out there. And that's not just exoplanet surveys. That's stuff that happens in the solar system. That's stuff that looks at, space weather. That's stuff that looks at gamma ray monitoring in space. There's so many layers to what space is. We need that understanding because that helps us understand what happens here on Earth. And the Europeans are competent, fantastic, but they need support from the American resources as well. Yeah, it's money. Like space is very expensive.
NASA spends more money than the ESA, even China currently, and Russia combined, or traditionally did.
And
so,
now,
Europe isn't going to be able to pick up the slack on their own.
Yeah, like stuff that's in orbit, great, but now Musk again is saying, well, he's gonna something with his Dragon fleet of supply rockets.
I'm waiting for him to pull a Blofeld and be like, I'm going to rain fire from the sky when I bring down. Oh, you don't want my satellites? Well, you can have all of my satellites, and Denver can have a satellite, and New York can have a satellite. Unless you pay me 20,000 trillion bazillion dollars and say you're sorry for making me sad.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we're waiting for the supervillain arc to happen in due time. Now, this next game, this caught my attention. This is the one thing out of this showcase. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it wasn't until I heard the music cues come out of this, but this one has an awesome vibe, awesome aesthetic. This is called No Ghosts at the Grand, and I guess you play some guy who inherits a hotel. You come to this new city and they're like, hey, are you gonna fix the old place up? Yeah, sure. And you try to rebuild this town, but you're also there for your own reasons at the same time. You have a talking cat. So, hey, that's how you sold me Persona. So look how well that turned out.
This is like Talking Cat, musical, hidden room, secret society, Lovecraftian ghosts.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. And it's going to be something awesome. And it comes out next year. I don't know whether this will be a huge release, but I could see this being... This kind of reminds me of that South of Midnight, where it's going to be a big release for those who care.
Yeah,
it'll be a quieter release for those who don't.
And I think it's on Game Pass. And there's like
things. I think there were only a handful of things that weren't on Game Pass.
Yeah,
but they are part of the Xbox Play Anywhere, which is their big push now.
There's like a talking mascot character that looks like, what's her name from the Loki TV show?
Yes.
Miss Minutes,
Minutes, yeah.
Age of Mythology expansion, blah, blah.
Retold has got a Japanese expansion.
Yeah. Mudang 2 Hearts, which I read as Mukbang 2 Hearts, which would be a completely different type of...
See, that's what I thought it was. I'm like, oh, well, you're going to need 2 hearts if you continue to mukbang. Not
yes.
I said Korean Splinter Cell.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll have to see more. It was all Flash, no substance, at least currently. Planet of Lana 2, I didn't know there was a Planet of Lana 1, or at least I don't remember there being one. But
I don't remember Planet of Lana 1 coming out. I remember it being shown off a couple of years ago at some showcases, and then I was like, wait, the first one came out?
Yeah. Fallout 76 Gone Fission.
Okay, sure. I mean...
Let it die. Move on.
See, that's the thing. I hear a lot of things out of the Fallout 76 community. I actually have a few friends who play in it. It's gotten better. Now you can actually solo if you want.
Well, I don't know. Why would you want to play this anymore?
They're doing it because they want good... Because of how much of a disaster 76 was, they're doing it as a keeping the brand not die.
Yeah, like honestly, this is what will hold people over until Fallout 5 happens officially, or until a remaster of one of the older games happens.
I was gonna say, like, couldn't they just take all the resources from this and then do a proper remaster of the ones people like?
Yeah, like honestly, like one of the things that was not shown at this showcase, because this is just as good a time as any to talk about it. Again, all the big people in the Bethesda, we always have it on our bingo card. Fallout 3 remaster gets announced, or New Vegas, or whatever gets announced. No, just more Fallout 76. Because from what I have heard, the Fallout 3 remaster HD From what I understand, it exists, but it's just not being released for whatever reason. And whatever reason that is certainly beyond
Do you think that might be a Switch 2 thing?
That would be a
Maybe.
really good way to get people into it. Like, honestly, if
But
they really want...
I would not be surprised if they're holding on that remaster for when the new season of the show comes out.
That's a good fucking point, actually. That's a real...
Yeah.
Actually, if they were to release New Vegas Remastered day and date with the first episode of the show, you've just sold that game to so many people.
And on Switch 2.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Hey, Todd Howard, we're in your files, motherfucker.
Solo Leveling, Arise, Overdrive, fun if you like the show. The show is fun, but
the show is fun. It's very interesting. They are, it feels very much not a Bamco game. It feels very much you've actually got a different studio that's not a Bamco game.
It doesn't look like the yearly Naruto titles.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not an arena fighter.
No, exactly. Animo, also known as Nintendo's lawyers perk their ears up.
So like cat
Animo, it looks like Korean MMO mobile Pokemon gacha trash.
Yeah, no.
Yes, moving on.
moving on.
There's a small game called Tony Hawk. We can skip that and move on to the next.
This one... There are parts of this I'm really excited for. The fact that they got so many of the old skaters in. Bam Margera is now officially confirmed. All the music is back. Like, when I heard the 96 Quite Bitter Beings by CKY in there, I'd be very curious to know which version of the song this is. I'd have to listen to it a few more times. There are, whatever. Anyway, getting into the weeds with it. Lots of new remastered levels. They all look fantastic. I remember remarking to you guys, hey, all my old trick spots will be here. And because this is a mix of 3 and 4, 3 was still the 2-minute timer mode. 4 introduced the free roam where you could do the challenges, and then they would activate a 2-minute timer, like collect skate, do so many tricks, and like whatever.
They've also said that the timers can be turned off.
Okay, good. So I'm glad that's officially been confirmed. As for special characters, I knew one of these was probably going to happen. Didn't expect the other. So the Doom guy's playable, which is wonderful and great.
And that makes sense. Owned by Microsoft now, so yeah.
And then the other character was Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, using the Mutants in Manhattan style from the latest movie that was done by Seth Rogen. And the demo is now available. This game's coming out on July 11th. Really looking forward to this. I love the last remaster, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, this is where my love of the series started. I knew that soundtrack front to back. I discovered so many people from this, like Del the Funky Homo Sapiens, CKY, and Alien Ant Farm. Like, at that time, the only Alien Ant Farm song I knew was the Michael Jackson one. This is where I discovered Wish, so it's good to see that song get a little bit of love.
I think this remaster combo is going to have way more nostalgia for many more people, because people play 3 and 4 more often than not.
Oh yeah, well,
1 and 2, everyone has nostalgia for 1 and 2 if you've played it, but 3 and 4 is when it
went mainstream.
Where the franchise, when the franchise hit mainstream.
Now, one thing that'll be really interesting, and I hope Activision is certainly paying attention to this, is when they because they will if they're smart, when they do American Wasteland, or not American, was it? No, Thug. When they do
Thug.
Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2, which was the Bam Margera years, I'll be very interested to see how that translates. Mostly for one reason. Those games had extensive soundtracks that put 3 and 4 to shame. Like, it felt like 4 soundtrack is huge. Thug's is longer. Thug 2 bigger than that. Not even kidding. I used to buy these games for the soundtracks, and the skating was second.
Microsoft be writing big paychecks.
Oh yeah, these checks are huge. The Johnny Cash estate alone will be huge.
I didn't own Pro Skater 3. I had my friends that it was one of those games where I would go over to their place to play. I was the guy that had Pro Skater 2 on Dreamcast.
Oh wow.
So that was how I played. And that, like, I remember seeing Pro Skater 3 and my friends were like, this is so much better. To me, it didn't visually look that much better because, you know, at the time, technically, the Dreamcast version of 2 was at the same visual fidelity as 3. It's just nobody else had the Dreamcast, right? So for me, like, you know, when I see this, like, the soundtrack and everything, it's 2 and 3 kind of blend together for me because I own 2, and then 3 I played like endlessly with friends.
Yeah. And like, I'm so happy to see so many of the mechanics come over, like reverts and spine transfers and manuals and stuff like that. This is going to be fucking fantastic. Like 3 is the game me and my girlfriend used to bond over quite a bit. And this is how I taught her how to play video games. So yeah, this is going to be fucking awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. You will see Birdman on the PlayStation Network. What's Mike playing? Oh, Outer Worlds and Tony Hawk. Yep. That's my summer.
At Fate's End is
the Spiritfarer devs.
Yep.
And they're doing a 2D action game.
Which is good. They had really good vibes with Spiritfarer. I don't know how it's going to translate into this. We'll see how... Their
animation is so amazing.
Yeah, very fluid. We're going to have to see if they have a voice that we can see come through this. Like, do they have a distinct voice, or are every game that they put out going to be different? Gears of War Reloaded coming to basically everything.
And also, if you bought the last remaster, you're getting this for free.
So that's good.
Which means I'm getting it for free. Because, I mean, the last remaster came with my console when I got it way back.
Yeah.
Persona 4 Revival. Alex was very happy and then very upset that it was just a running animation.
Yeah. I'd like to know when this is going to come out.
This is Tokyo Game Show.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to show stuff at Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
They'll probably tease Persona 6 at Tokyo Game Show, or even Jeff's show.
Yeah, the only other thing it could be is it's possible, again, at a Nintendo Partner Direct, they might show it. It's not going to be exclusive. It's just that it is going to be part of Game Pass, though, again, which is nice. So,
yes,
for those people that are on the fence...
Well, I mean, Sega, for the most part, has basically connected themselves to Game Pass.
Yeah,
even when they've pulled stuff off of Game Pass, it'll be only pulled off for, like, maybe a month or two.
It's basically the Yakuza or the Like a Dragon and Sonic are the only ones that don't go like directly in.
Well, also like some of the Yakuza games were going to leave Game Pass, and then they made the announcement, and then they pulled that away. And they were like, "Oh no, we signed another deal."
Mainline brand new releases generally don't.
Yeah, the mainline brand new releases they don't.
Sea of Thieves, okay, cool. Oh, Invincible Versus. That was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, this is one I didn't expect. This is like some of the guys from Double Helix who worked on the first season of KI way back in 2013. I was initially a little skeptical about this, thinking, is the Invincible universe big enough for a game like this? I guess it is. The IP continues to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. The Amazon show is fantastic. The comics have certainly gotten a revival. So, you know what? Cool. I mean, maybe it'll be fun. I mean, the fighting game community does need some new IP in it. So why not? I mean, I'm glad it's not just Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, now with like Fatal Fury coming back in with like Cry of the Wolves.
And don't forget Marvel Token.
Yeah, and Marvel Token, whatever that'll end up being, you know.
Fighting game players be eating good.
Yeah. This is going to be fucking awesome. So I'm really looking forward to this. This will be great.
FF16 was shadow dropped. Not on Game Pass, though. That's kind of surprising.
No.
But
also Play Anywhere, obviously.
Yeah, Play Anywhere. Yeah, and FF7 Intergrade is coming.
Will probably come out the same time the Switch 2 version comes out.
Which would be sometime in...
Whenever.
They said wintertime, so...
Yeah.
Holiday season, so... I think
also,
at that point...
Also, I saw, because it showed up in my feed, Ben Starr and one of the female voice actresses for 16 did a silly little promo for it, and they're sitting on like a 3-meter tall Xbox Series X.
Okay. Well, they didn't announce the second...
It's a funny ad. It's a funny ad.
I'll have to check it out after. They didn't show anything about FF7 second one, and I'm assuming that they're still like...
That'll come eventually.
That's got probably
come,
another 6 months on top.
Yeah, it'll probably another 6 months, or they might do it when 3 drops on PlayStation. The next one will come out on Xbox.
Yeah, something like that. So we finally got something from Double Fine. A lot of people, including myself, have been thinking, what's Double Fine working on? Because we know that Psychonauts 2 was in development for a few years, but then we've heard basically nothing from them for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they've been really quiet.
Considering they were known for doing stuff like, quirky game basically every 12 to 15 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they kind of had to because of just the way their structure was, that they needed to do that to survive.
And now with the Microsoft
and now they have
purchase,
whatever.
But this is basically a sentient lighthouse. and you have a bird partner that helps you out, and you're traveling, I guess, while the world is crumbling or something, to try to find a new place for yourself. Who knows? It looks ridiculous. It'll be probably fun.
It looks very Double Fine.
And then they did some teasing for possible Halo, Forza. Basically, all the big titles everybody expected to see here, they're not here, so they pulled a PlayStation and said, "Hey, it's going to be end of the year."
If I had to do a moment of speculation on this, if they're going to reboot Halo from the very beginning, this is when it happens.
Yeah,
and I could see them doing something interesting. I mean, it sucks to kind of jettison 20 plus years of Halo lore, but the television show didn't do it any favors, but it did show something interesting. Despite the show failing on one hand, it also showed you could port the lore over and bring in some new people. As long as you had the right people at the helm, as long as you kept certain things intact, like Cortana, the Chief, and how the Spartan 2 program was developed, and, the Covenant are the big bad guys, I think you could do something. I really do. Just... you need the right people at the helm. Gears of War E-Day, I'm interested. I don't say excited, but I say interested. I may actually replay through the Gears of War games this summer just for something to do, because they're all fairly short. You can beat them in like 2 days apiece, with the exception of maybe 5, which takes a little too long in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Forza, it's a fucking racing game. Vroom vroom, whatever. Cool, I guess.
Beep, beep, motherfucker.
Exactly.
And then Fable, which...
Is Fable even relevant? Does anybody care? Does Peter Molyneux fucking matter anymore?
He's not even part of it.
He's not even been a part of it. He hasn't been a part of it for half a decade now.
Yeah,
maybe even more than that.
It's just that, like, that's the thing though with me. I still associate his name with the Fable IP, right? I don't care about the Fable IP. It has never been, oh man, this is so awesome. Yet when you talk about other fantasy,
does anybody know if there was, like, I don't remember there being a story.
Yeah, I was just about to say, can you tell me one piece of Fable lore right here, right now?
I could. Yeah, I couldn't, but I have friends that could.
The only thing I remember of Fable at all is
pub games.
No, I literally remember a single thing, and that is, if you're good, you look like an angel. If you're bad, you look bad. There's that, and if you want to get money, reset your console's timer and disconnect from the internet.
Yep,
that's it. That's all I remember. I remember people hacking their way to getting money, and I remember that it was one of the first games where it altered your appearance based on if you were good or bad, right around the exact same time that KOTOR started doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't recall much about it. I could say more people can tell me Elder Scrolls lore compared to Fable. Like, name any of the fantasy races out of Fable. Yet, if I say Khajiit, I'm guessing Ken knows what that is, and even Alex might have an idea.
As wares, if you
Yeah,
have
exactly. Exactly. You know,
and I don't even. And I hate that fucking game.
Yeah,
and I know that
like,
shit.
Yeah, like it's a nothing burger of a franchise that they wasted. And obviously the online discourse around people talking about, well, I don't want my avatar to look like that. First off, you chud. And second of all, like, if it's not interesting, it's not interesting. I don't care what my avatar looks like. I want a cool story.
They've shown me nothing except here's a quirk and there's fairy tale stuff. Well,
yeah, I can get that anywhere.
You showed me that 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's still nothing. What was it, Everwild? Whatever the other one that they still have no idea what it is. So like there's a lot of stuff, and we'll have to get into like things that are disappointing,
The
or things that
the state of Microsoft,
state of gaming in general. That'll be when we do we'll do a roundup at the at the end of the week or early next week. We'll see how it comes out, but we're going to discuss like everything we saw, what we didn't see, what we're hoping to see, and what we think the rest of the year is going to be like later on. But they did have one final thing they showed off, which at first I found funny. Afterwards, people online were thinking it was like, oh, it looks like, is this like an X-Files game? It's not going to be an X-Files game. My first thought was, is this Control 2?
See, yeah, same here. I'm like, interesting. What is this?
And then when I didn't see the Remedy thing, the characters didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before, except the second that they put a woman on there, it's, for whatever reason, Capcom's RE engine is like this. It's the same thing with this, where once you see one thing, it will switch your opinion as to what it's going to be. And it didn't even have to hear the music here. So what we saw, remember when they did the Jeff Fest thing, and it ended up being RE9, and all you had to do is you had to see the one girl, and that
immediately, because that's an RE engine.
You're like, that's RE engine, and whereas it looked like the FBI, and you're like, okay, it's an RE engine once you saw her. With this, it was like, okay, is this like the future FBI? Is this Detroit Become Human 2? And then it's like, no, it can't be, because they're still working on the Star Wars game. And then you're like, okay, is it a Remedy title? It's not Control. Is this, I'm running all these permutations in my head. I'm going, what studio is working on this? This isn't this can't be Perfect Dark, because it's Joanna Dark and it's a male protagonist. And then they showed Mila Ventimiglia's face or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, it's high budget. He's in this. Is it a different IP from Remedy, because it had sort of a Remedy look? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I'm thinking, I'm going through my. Didn't dawn on me that we didn't see anything from Call of Duty, because usually they have their own little presentation or their own event, or I thought, are they taking the year off?
Or they tease it before they show it.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, and what the hell is this going to be? And then the second it broke the glass, I started playing the music. I'm like, the music, it's too licensed, it's too big. And then I was like, Call of Duty. And then it goes, Black Ops 7. I'm like, they've never done 2 Black Ops 2 years in a row. Ever.
Yeah, I thought that seemed really weird. I'm like, okay.
But also, it seems like they're incorporating some of the future stuff from Advanced Warfare. And that's going to piss off some of the fan base.
See, I'm welcoming Advanced Movement again, because when Advanced Warfare came out, motherfucker, you couldn't touch me.
Let's be honest, the Omni movement sucked.
I would argue Advanced Warfare did it good.
Yeah. The Omni movement needs some work because of how they overcomplicated it.
The best game that did it, that had a mix of everything, was Black Ops 3, because that had some advanced wall running, which is fine. Infinite Warfare, advanced, it was new because it was Titanfall 1 adjacent. So if you knew how to move, you could move quick.
Are we presuming that this is still coming this year, because they had no date?
Yes, it is, because there has been some talk in the Call of Duty community. This will be another October game.
See, I thought maybe this
Maybe
year
June,
was going
or
to be an
maybe November.
expansion for the last one.
No.
But what's weird is, so like, is this character wise? Are they jumping forward like 30 years, 40 years?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
Call
I
of
think
Duty
so,
timelines never matter anyway. So
because
like,
of Makarov looks older.
Yeah.
Because the vibes I was getting from, like, it's almost like they're mixing the vibes of Black Ops Cold War and the current and Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
Like, there's just the vibe and feel for it. And like, I'm hoping for like, this last one had a really good narrative, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they also, did you notice in the trailers, they didn't show which studio's working on it.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
This is probably
It's not going to be Treyarch, is it? Because
no,
they
it's not
just
Treyarch.
they spent years making the last one.
Would this be a Sledgehammer
Yeah.
Games here?
It could
The
be
fact that they're not
Sledgehammer
showing it.
or Infinity Ward, but like also, let's be honest, most of Activision is just an amalgamation of Call of Duty
It's
support
true,
studios.
but like, you think about it, like, I would assume that they didn't show any gameplay, so because of that, we can't tell. Like, you can generally tell if it's Infinity Ward's engine, and
Yeah.
you could
well,
usually
now
tell.
everyone's using. But here's the problem: everyone's using the same engine.
Yeah, they're all using but
They're all using the Infinity Ward engine, which is a bloated piece of shit.
or are they gonna like flip the switch and be like, this is a new Raven game? Like, like, is it a different studio altogether within them working on it? Because
Sure.
it's so odd to not show the main studio in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming at some point we're going to get a deep dive, probably closer to Gamescom.
Yeah, there'll be something for this. There always is a Call of Duty event in like August or something. So,
don't they usually reveal this, or they announce there's going to be a reveal within the game? Like, usually they've done an event, or in like Warzone. I don't remember hearing anything about this.
No, this was a complete surprise, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much.
And then also no comment about Switch 2 for this game specifically, but I assume they're working on it.
So again, maybe a partner direct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of hyped, as long as it has a good story. They showed, like, they hinted at zombies. They showed some futuristic type stuff. I was a big fan of the open hub that they built for the previous game, where like you're slowly building up your place and then you end up having it as part of the actual level with defenses. But like, the idea of you're searching the areas, earning money, like, they added much more to the single player campaign than they had done since 2020. And I'm hoping that it continue. I hope that this isn't an off year where it's just another like this is all flash and then it turns out to just be bullshit. I think that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think there was anything worth talking about in the PC show, honestly. Like, not to say that the games that people made there aren't, they didn't work hard, they're great games. Nothing popped out at me.
Yeah. I mean, like, and then you want me to rattle off all the indies?
No. I put together a little trailer with like 7 or 8 things from those indies to show Mike, and we can watch them and we can discuss them if we want to when we do the final wrap up. I think this has gone on probably long enough here, so take us away, Mike.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, there,
That's
guys.
fair.
So that has been this is about 90% of the coverage we've done for Summer Games Fest. If you want to go check out some of the previous days that Ken and Alex and I chimed in on one episode, go back here on thisweekingeek.net. You should be able to find more information on there. If you go to YouTube right now, you can check out all the trailers we've talked about today. And again, do want to send a shout out to some of the websites we've been using to cover these. So if you want to go to, I'm just going to pull up these websites right now. You can go to, let me find it again, so I'm sure here.
Oh, we've gotten some of the information just for our notes from Eurogamer, and some other sites. We do, obviously gather our own, but it's nice to have a second thread of just
exactly,
step by step what we saw in summary.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to be able to visually say here's what happened. But so like I said, if you want to check out more information from official Xbox sources, you can go to news.xbox.com. That'll give you a full breakdown of that. And as Alex mentioned, Eurogamer.net gave a complete showdown as it happened. So yeah, please go check out these trailers. A lot of these developers worked really hard on these things. Maybe you'll find something new and exciting that you want to check out. And yeah, I know I'm looking forward to playing Tony Hawk out there against some of you. So look for me online on July 11th. We are also going to be having a Switch 2 show next Monday in place of our regular show. We only have, I want to say, 2 more regular shows before the hiatus hits, but we'll be having Turtle Treasures and pre-recorded content for the rest of the summer across Loose Cannon, across Future Imperfect, across RAM, multiple shows, multiple franchises, lots of good stuff coming up here. So for This Week in Geek from the great land of New Jersey, we have been
Ken from This Anime.
From Kitchener, Ontario, Canada,
Alex, the producer.
and I've been Mike the Birdman saying good night.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.